A Beacon in the Dark by No Haijiachi. Chapter 11. Stop. Restart. Miki, help me put in one of those cute face thingies you use to convey emotion. Something supportive.
You.
She laughs, taking the phone from his hand and typing something after the message he already dictated in.
Sorry, Gramps. I didn't realize it was time to get you back to the hospice.
Izuku flashes her his tongue before adding, Send it! Oh, also send, a flexing arm!
Aye, sir.
She dutifully replies, and Izuku hears the whooshing sounds that means the two texts were sent. After a bit, Miki reads,
Your friend is asking what the arm means.
Tell him it means that he's super strong. She dutifully types in the text before giving him the phone back. Izuku pockets it, his mood through the roof.
Yes, I'm pretty cheery. What, do you have a crush on this guy?
Miki asks, elbowing him.
You know you can tell me.
It's not that! Izuku laughs, shaking his head. Don't be silly! I'm just happy Todoroki doesn't hate my guts.
Seems like he does more than just not hating your guts, since he asks you for your number and sends you personal texts now.
She says, her voice suggestive. Miki, is there a particular reason why you keep trying to pair me up with any classmate I happen to speak to you about?
Yes, but it's because it's very funny.
You are a cruel woman. Her laugh is like music in his ears. They hadn't had any chance to hang out lately with how busy Izuku had been. Miki had been pretty busy too since she decided to sign up for a first aid course on top of her normal studies.
I think that might be something I could be interested in doing, she said. Mom is pretty happy about it, so I want to see how it goes. If I like it, I'll probably go with medical studies in university.
For now, they are sitting on a beach in a park, waiting, the laughs of kids playing in the distance. There's a lull in the conversation as they both just take into the sounds around them, and then Miki sighs.
By the way, Izuku, what even was that fight with this Todoroki guy? Not to mention the obstacle race.
She starts careful.
That was something.
Izuku knew that the question would come, but that didn't make it any easier to take it with a poker face. You could tell that Miki had been dying to ask since they met, only getting distracted by Todoroki's sudden text. Fortunately, Izuku thought about the possibility in advance. Not that it made it any easier to lie right to Miki's face. He definitely did not like to lie to her or anyone else, really. I've been practicing different ways to apply my quirk, he replies with a shrug. He's pretty sure she's tilting an eyebrow.
Your radar.
You know how I can kind of feel other people's energy and stuff? Izuku replies, carefully schooling his voice into a nonchalant tone. I've been using that.
Miki sniffs.
Her light doesn't feel entirely convinced, Izuku could tell, but she doesn't insist. After all, it's not as if she could even remotely imagine that the blonde man she knew as a talent scout was actually All Might, and that All Might's power was something that could get passed to others, let alone that the one on the receiving end had been Izuku. No one could possibly imagine that. Izuku himself still had a hard time accepting that it was actually a thing that happened to him. Anyone asking would probably take his giant lie at face value. Not really much of a choice there. Izuku seriously hoped he'd never have to explain his sudden enhanced physical abilities to a liar detector such as himself, because that would suck! In the end, Miki seems to have dropped the matter entirely.
Your friend is a little late,
she comments after a long beat of silence, looking around. She's coming, don't worry, Izuku replies. The familiar light already entered in his radar a bit ago, and was rapidly getting closer.
You know you are creepy as hell when you do that, right?
He grins at her just as the familiar voice calls out to him.
Midoriya!
He stands, Uraraka finally jogging up to them, her breath a little short.
Sorry I'm late. I didn't hear the alarm this morning.
She pants. Don't worry about that. You were not that late. Miki, this is Uraraka. Uraraka, my friend from middle school. Miki.
It's so nice to finally meet you.
Miki says enthusiastic, and Izuku imagines they're shaking hands by the way their lights move.
Izuku can't stop talking about you. Uraraka this, Uraraka that. I thought I had to beg him to finally let me meet you.
Miki! He yells embarrassed, and the two girls laugh.
It's nice to meet you too,
Uraraka replies, sounding a bit overwhelmed.
Midoriya told us about you, of course. I'm happy to see he has such a good friend. This hairhead would be totally lost without someone holding his hand, so I was very relieved to hear that someone nice like you is taking care of him.
Miki replies, I'm like right here, you know. Izuku deadpans, unamused, making them laugh again.
Let's go, Uraraka. I have so much to tell you about Izuku.
Izuku drags his only free hand across his face with a deep sigh, following behind the two girls that are already knees deep in a conversation. This might have been a huge mistake. Miki is quite something else. She has an energetic look to her that makes Ochako think of a female much nicer Bakugo. Her black hair is short, spiky, with a single longer tuft dyed a brilliant electric blue on the right side of her face. Her clothing style yelled punk rock, a little silver skull hanging from a piercing in her nose. She's taller than Midoriya too, but maybe it's because of her boots. All in all, by just a first look, it's not the kind of person she could see being friends with Midoriya, but going by what he told her and Ida, and the clear fondness in his voice when he spoke about her, it was clear that Midoriya deeply cared for her. They called each other by name, too, with a simplicity that spoke of a long-standing, deep friendship. When Ochako had tried to address her by her surname, she waved her away.
Don't do that. Miki is fine.
Well, I guess you should call me Ochako then, she replied, embarrassed. Miki grinned before turning around toward Midoriya, saying,
And you? Aren't you going to call her Ochako?
Midoriya blushed, mumbling something unintelligible, making the both of them laugh. That reminded Ochako of that one slip she had at the USJ, but Midoriya never mentioned that, so she was hopeful he either didn't notice or just forgot. They went to a cafe. Miki was a chatterbox telling Ochako all sorts of embarrassing stories, Midoriya trying and failing to stop her multiple times. By the time they sat down, Ochako was almost in tears by how much she was laughing. This was the worst idea of my life, Midoriya muttered, but there was no real venom in his voice.
Your entire life was one terrible idea after the other, Izuku. And for once, employ a good idea and go fetch us some drinks.
You are asking the blind guy with only one functioning arm to go get drinks.
That's what I said, didn't I? There you go, chop chop.
Miki, you are horrible.
That's why you love me.
She says that last sentence with a wink and a kissy motion. Midoriya rolls his eyes like he knows what she's doing, but smiles, getting up to go stand in line. Ochako was unsure if she should just stare in shock or laugh.
That's how you have to treat him, Ochako,
Miki says, turning to her. She pets a fist in her open palm, although it doesn't make a sound since she's wearing gloves.
You lure him in with niceness, and then, bam, iron fist.
At that, Ochako loses it, falling in another giggling fit.
Okay, but real talk,
Miki continues.
You like him, don't you?
That stops her giggling pretty fast as she blushes furiously. Miki is looking at her pointedly, and she sighs.
Is it so obvious? Not by much, but you have a way of looking at him. Anyway, if you want him to know, you will have to be blunt. That one doesn't get hints even if they hit him right in the head with a hammer.
Miki replies, shrugging. Ochako let out a little laugh before shaking her head. I actually don't want him to know, to be honest.
Why not?
Miki blinks, surprised.
I mean, I know he's pretty immature on that front, but still,
I don't want to be a distraction for him, and I don't want him to be a distraction for me. Ochako explains quietly, with a little smile. I'm happy with just being friends. Me and Midoriya, we have a lot on the line, and we both are in UA for the same reason. I'd much rather have things as they are instead of possibly creating tense situations between us that could become a problem for our studies.
I see.
Miki sniffs.
I understand. Still, it's kind of a shame. I'm constantly afraid one of these days Izuku is going to come and tell me he got married to All Might.
And that Ochako cannot help but imagine All Might in a wedding dress and splutters, laughing loudly with her forehead against the table. Miki! What did you tell her now? She hears Midoriya ask, exasperated after her laughing fit infected Miki as well. Miki ends up having to leave them just after lunch.
I'm sorry I have to go so soon,
She said, pouting a bit.
but I really need to study. It has been great to finally meet you, Ochako. We should spend some more time together.
Ochako wholeheartedly agreed, exchanging numbers with the girl. Despite the fact most of their time has been spent poking fun at Midoriya, he waves at her enthusiastically, a big smile on his face, clearly not offended at all. He seems satisfied as he and Ochako make their way to the subway station after separating from her. I'm glad you and Miki seem to be getting along. I know she could be a handful, he elaborates to her unasked question.
She's like, what would Bakugo be if he was a girl and not an asshole?
That makes Midoriya laugh heartily. You know, I thought something similar to that the first time I met her, he says once the laugh subsided.
Really?
Ochako says with a frown, trying to imagine that.
I mean, considering how Bakugo is with you, I hope your first meeting with her wasn't quite as explosive.
Midoriya snickers before his face turns a bit melancholic. I didn't have many friends in middle school. Actually, I didn't have any friends, he says quietly. Most people would either avoid me or treat me like glass. I was alone most of the time, and one day she just came to me and told me that I shouldn't hide my face, and that I was cute. He laughs. She's always been very blunt from the very first day. Runs in the family. Uraraka blinks, surprised. It was hard to imagine someone as nice and kind as Midoriya having no friends. Things were different back then, Midoriya continues as if he picked up on her unexpressed feelings. I wasn't in a good place. Mentally, I mean. Miki has done so much for me, I don't think I will ever be able to repay her. She watches him, turning his face up to the sky. He's smiling. Things are much better now. I have you, and Ina, and everyone in class. I might get hurt every now and then, but I much prefer the occasional broken arm to the way I lived back in those days. God, it feels like a lifetime ago. He keeps walking with his face pointed at the sky, and Ochako notices the way the light hits Midoriya's eyes, making them shine in a way she'd never seen before. She freezes on the spot, holding her breath. Midoriya stops after a few steps, turning around. Is something the matter?
Your eyes,
Ochako says, breathless.
they are amazing.
Midoriya grins at her like she just shared an old inside joke of his.
Here's my champion.
Kensuke grunts, sitting at the table, ignoring the hand that ruffles his hair. Mom is whistling an off-key tune, grinning every time she passes by the library where his new, shiny, very unfortunate medal is hanging from. Must you keep that thing there? He asks with a squint as she sits in front of him. It's just him and her having lunch since Dad is at work. Oh, Katsuki, she sighs, serving herself some salad. Can you not be satisfied with your results for once? I told you I can't, he replies, irritated, putting the offending greens in his plate as if they just insulted his entire lineage. How can you even call that a victory? She sighs, long-suffering, as she usually does. The stupid half-face didn't even try, Katsuki grumbles between a mouthful of salad and the other. To think he actually decided to turn the oven on for Deku, of all people! He turns to the rice, glaring at it as if every grain is laughing at him. Oh, speaking of which, Mom says, her voice cheerful. Izuku really gave quite the show too, didn't he? It doesn't even dignify that with a response. That super chap during the race. Not to mention the way he fought that Todoroki kid. I really thought he would win. I wonder when he turned so strong. Katsuki's chopstick snaps in half. Again? Mom sighs, tired. You cost me more in cutlery than anything else, Katsuki. That frickin' Deku! he exclaims, enraged. He's like one of those stupid magicians that grab bunnies out of a hat, but apparently his supply of bunnies is freaking infinite. He just keeps pulling out one after the other.
Language, dear. We agreed that we were supposed to try to use less curses together.
I hate him.
Sure you do.
She deadpans before massaging the bridge of her nose with his eye.
Katsuki, honestly, can you not just put this grudge you have away once and for all? That poor boy still cares about you, you know.
Yes, and I wish you would stop.
She tilts an eyebrow. Do you?
The seriousness of her tone stops him in his tracks as he looks up to her.
I mean, dear, you only have two moods. Angry and angrier.
She continues casual.
The only time I've ever seen you show some kind of different feeling, Izuku has been involved one way or the other.
A memory surfaces unwanted. Traitorous. A pair of unseeing eyes filled with tears, voice trembling with pure desperation.
Do you think I wouldn't sell my soul for just a minute of being able to see my mother's face again?
The shame he felt at the pit of his stomach. He chases it away, shaking his head. He doesn't do feelings. He certainly doesn't do shame.
So I hope you can forgive me, but I highly doubt you really hate him and that you really want him to stop caring.
Katsuki doesn't answer. He gets up, fishing a new pair of chopsticks from the drawer in the kitchen, and goes back to stabbing his food. They finish eating in silence. When Inko opens the door, she finds herself in front of a very familiar face, despite the fact they never met directly.
You are Uraraka Ochako, she says, her hands flying to her cheeks. Oh my! I saw you at the festival, of course. You did so well, dear. I was absolutely amazed.
Mom, breathe! Izuku laughs, putting his right hand on her shoulder. Uraraka, this is my mom, as you can imagine.
It's an honor to meet you, Miss Midoriya, the girl says with a sweet smile and a bow. She's even cuter in person. The honor is mine. Please come in. Would you like a tea?
She sidesteps, giving them space to enter. Uraraka is already looking around, curious, eyeing the pictures of her and Izuku at various stages of his growth on the walls as she takes off her shoes. She must notice Inko is watching her, red appearing on her cheeks.
Sorry. Don't worry about it, dear. Feel free to look. I'll go put on the tea,
Inko says, getting back in the kitchen.
Would you two like some snacks?
I'm good, Mom, thanks. Izuku replies, a little strained. He must be struggling with his goat. He hears low voices, and then some rustling, Izuku thanking his friend for the help. They appear in the kitchen right after, sans coats.
Sorry for intruding without a warning,
Uraraka says, accepting the chair Izuku is offering her and sitting down at the table.
Oh, no intrusion,
Inko replies with a smile.
None at all. Did you have fun today?
She puts down on the table a plate with a cake already cut in slices, and despite what Izuku said, he takes one, sinking his teeth into it with a little happy smile. Very much, he says after he's done with the bite. I think I needed a day off with all the things that have happened lately.
Agreed.
Uraraka seems to melt on the table, relaxed.
It was nice to just be normal for a day. I feel like ever since we started at UA, I hadn't a single minute to stop and catch my breath. From what Izuku tells me, you all have quite the exciting lives,
Inko says with a smile, pouring the tea.
I bet you must have been tired after the festival. Sure was,
Uraraka replies with a little strange smile, accepting the cup.
And to think I didn't even get that far. Not as much as Midoriya did, at least.
Izuku scoffs. I only had one more match than you. It's really not that big of a difference.
Yes, but you fought Todoroki. I got my ass kicked.
Uraraka tilts an eyebrow, a mix of incredulity and some sort of tired acceptance on her face.
Are you, like, for real right now?
What? Izuku replies with a blink, frowning.
You are impossible.
Uraraka sighs before poking a finger on Izuku's forehead repeatedly.
You have no idea how it was from the outside. You were absolutely dominating to us all. It looked like Todoroki couldn't even touch you. I still have no idea what happened during that explosion at the end.
Izuku mutters something that sounds like, I was an idiot, that's what happened. Rolling her eyes, Uraraka goes back to her tea, sipping.
You can play dumb all you want, Midoriya, Izuku, but your fight with Todoroki had been absolutely impressive. Stop selling yourself short.
The full name now, too? Izuku sighs. I knew I shouldn't have let you meet Miki. Uraraka grins, before apparently remembering Inko was there as well and looking at her with eyes as big as plates, blushing. Inko can't help but laugh, amused. She takes place at the table as well. She's so glad Izuku is making friends with all these amazing boys and girls in school. Why don't you tell me more about your quirk? She asks, watching the girl relax. It's a shame you couldn't make it against Katsuki, but that plan of yours was brilliant. So frustrating, Uraraka replies, closing her hands into fists. I kept thinking, what would Midoriya do in my place, and came up with that, but in the end it wasn't enough. Then she puts her hands on her mouth, realizing what she's saying. Now it's you that's selling yourself short. Izuku intervenes, leveled, tilting his head. It was a really good plan. It's just that Kajon is too much. That seems to release the bit of tension in the air as the three of them keep chatting about the festival and school. Soon enough, it's darkening outside. When Inko realizes, she puts a hand to her mouth. Oh my, it's already getting so late. She looks at Uraraka, relaxed, happy, and turning to look outside the window with a little frown. Would you like to stay for dinner, dear? Oh, I wouldn't want to disturb, she starts to say, Izuku speaking over her. Yes, stay! Mom, did you know that Uraraka lives alone? She turns about on him at that as Inko blinks. Really? It must be lonely. A bit sometimes. She let out a sigh. But my parents work far, so it was the only solution. Inko smiles a bit sadly. These kids, chasing their dreams, having to sacrifice so much. She puts a gentle hand on the girl's shoulder. Feel free to come by any time you need it, okay? My door will always be open for you. The smiles she gives her could light up a room. After dinner, Miss Midoriya shushed them away, refusing Ochako when she offered to wash the dishes as a thanks for the hospitality. Nonsense, there's no need to pay me back. She even gave her a hug on the door before sending them on their way, stressing again that Ochako was welcome to come by whenever. Midoriya was walking her to the subway station now, the first stars appearing on the increasingly darkening sky. He looked relaxed, almost sleepy. Your mom is so nice, Ochako says in the silence. I see from where you took after now. I can only wish to be as half as nice as she is, he replies with a little grin. If it wasn't for the fact that she likes to levitate things in my way to annoy me, I think excessive niceness was her quirk. That surprises a laugh out of Ochako before they fall into a comfortable silence again. Midoriya seems to get hit by a sudden thought, his eyebrows furrowing. Have you heard from Ida? He asks, voice low. She can only reply with a sad, No. They sigh at the same time. Hopefully he'll be at school tomorrow, Midoriya mutters. I'm really worried about him. If I hadn't been unconscious at the end of the festival, I could have at least told him something. Oh, please! God, Miki is right! You are a martyr! Ochako can't help but let out, slightly exasperated. You went through an operation on the spot! Cut yourself some slack! Midoriya pouts a bit with a sniff, but does not protest. Izuku is lying on his bed, belly down, face sinking into the pillow. He had such a nice day. A nice, normal day. It seemed almost unreal being able to spend a day with friends like a normal kid. It felt like it would never end, and like it ended too fast at the same time. Uraraka sent him a text just a couple minutes prior to let him know she made it back to her apartment safe and sound. It was still too early to go to sleep, but Izuku just didn't feel like sitting at his desk to transcribe the rest of his vocal notes from the festival. So he was just lying there, being useless. Struck by a thought, he palms at his nightstand for his phone, dictating in a text. After having the voiceover read it back to him to make sure it was okay, he hit send. How did your visit go? It took Todoroki 5 minutes to reply. Better than expected. No little faces this time. Izuku snickers. I had a friend type that in for me. It's a bit hard to dictate little faces, so I'd rather not use them. Right. Thank you for your encouragement, by the way.
No problem. I'm glad you decided to visit your mom. If you want to talk about it, I'm here, okay? Thanks. I'll see you tomorrow. Good night, Midoriya.